Good day, sir. I am Charles Christian Pasio, a BSEE 3B student, and today I will present to you the two processors that we will compare, and that is the Intel Core i3-1005G1 and the AMD Ryzen 3 1200. So first, let's proceed to their specifications. First, we go to their microarchitecture. The Intel Core i3-1005G1 has Ice Lake microarchitecture, while the AMD Ryzen 3 1200 has Zen microarchitecture. Next is their cores and threads. The Intel Core i3 has 2 cores and 4 threads, while the AMD Ryzen 3 has 4 cores and 4 threads. Next is their release date. The Intel Core i3 released on the Q3 of 2019, while the AMD Ryzen 3 released on the Q3 of 2017. Next is their TDP. The Intel Core i3 has 15 watts, while the AMD Ryzen 3 has 65 watts. Next is their base frequency. The Intel Core i3 has 1.2 GHz, while the AMD Ryzen 3 has 3.1 GHz. Next is their turbo frequency. The Intel Core i3 has 3.4 GHz, same as the AMD Ryzen 3 has also 3.4 GHz. Next is their cache memory. The Intel Core i3 has 4 MB, while the AMD Ryzen 3 has 8 MB of cache memory. Next is their max memory capacity. The Intel Core i3 has 64 GB of max memory, while the AMD has also 64 GB of max memory capacity. And the last specifications is the max memory bandwidth. So the Intel Core i3 has 58.3 GB per second, while the AMD Ryzen 3 has 42.7 GB per second. Next is we're going to see their performance. And this is the table that shows the multi-thread and their single thread scores. Number 1 question: which among the two processors is more powerful in terms of raw computational ability in productivity tasks? So we are going back. Among these two processors, the AMD Ryzen 3 1200 is much better compared to Intel Core i3 1005G1 based on the multi-thread score according to CPUz, Cinebench, Passmark, and Geekbench. Next is the number 2: which among the two processor is more powerful in terms of overall gaming performance? Among these two processors, the Intel Core i3 1005G1 is much better compared to AMD Ryzen 3 1200 based on the single thread score according to CPUz, Cinebench, Passmark, and Geekbench. Next question is: which among the two processor is more cost effective? So as you can see, this graph rather shows the market share of the both processors. So according to user benchmark, as the year goes by, the market share of Intel Core i3 1005G1 is increasing while in the other hand, the AMD Ryzen 3 is decreasing, and their market share is the Intel Core i3 is plus 38% higher than the Ryzen, while on the other hand, Ryzen 3 is more popular by plus 11% in the 11%. So as a conclusion, after comparing these two processors, I will say that the AMD Ryzen 3 has the overall good processor compared to Intel Core i3 because it can handle more multitasking job, and as a student we used to be a multitasker. Though Intel is good at single thread scores, single thread or gaming, but I recommend AMD Ryzen 3 1200 to my fellow students. So this is my report, and thank you, and see you next video.